have this on my bingo card at all.
No, I didn't have a lot of this on my bingo card, to be completely honest, when it comes to what G2 is showing us. I mean, I always really enjoyed watching VALORANT on the Harbor on this map, but switching over to the Astra, you know, with the KO, it feels a little more post-plant heavy here for the side of G2. So coming into this attack side, it feels like they're going to maybe try to match Nongshim's speed and aggression that they're so well known for. You know, these really well-rehearsed executes into really oppressive post plants in particular, because you've got that Astra, because you got that KO, because you got that Sova, you've got a lot of ability here, and the Viper, you've got almost every molly that you could ask for to try to just deny Nongshim from getting those retakes to really solidify and get the sticks on those defuses. But we will be seeing if that is the case. It's Nongshim spreading out in a 3-2 formation early. Want to send their strong side over towards A. I think seeing this Neon in that comp, you know, they're well known to be A-side abusers on this map, so probably assuming that that very well could be. Dombi is going to get identified by the knife early from G2. Francis, only seeing Valen. That's not a ton of info necessarily, but it makes you suspect A.
This is a sprint forward, quick little glance over. Baby Bay able to spot out some of the players here on Nongshim. It's a little fan out around the site though, and still this forward tuck from RB. And we'll be able to get the jump on one. Shogamo's going to be taken down. Relay bolt into the corner. Has him stunned up. Meanwhile, the slide in. And Babyface going to be able to find one. But Ivy comes away with a third. As Babyface just not going to be fast enough to strike him down. The swing out. Francis already has him dispatched. And that's going to be the opening pistol going the way of Nongshim RedForce.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you want to see from Nongshim. If the success that they had in the qualifiers here for EWC 2026 are going to be replicated in a long-term stint here, it's that, yes, you're always going to be looking at Dombi, what he can do on the Neon, things like that. Very impressive, the way he creates space. But it's Ivy who has been leading the charge for them. He has been the one in those back lines, along with Francis, doing a really nice job of cleaning up those kills, being really sturdy. You know, and Ivy has always been mostly really good. Had a little bit of stumbles in stage 1 in Pacific, but right there, you can see why he was often top fragging for Nongshim.
I mean, I'm not trying to be, I don't think I'm being revisionist here. I think that going back to Santiago, Ivy was the one that I had voted to be the MVP of that tournament after they, with their win, with their lift of the trophy. Meanwhile, though, it's going to be a full-out fight here in mid. And G2 very much the ones limping away from this. Exros will get taken down. Francis, a quick turn to the side, able to put a shot there into the chest of Leaf. Looking for a bit of a timing as Valen through shot. As Leaf will be able to hold his own for one. Bandit chance to get some more damage through if he can click some heads, but it will be Ivy with a backstab to go ahead and bring this round to its conclusion. 3 players surviving, key weaponry going to be carried over, and a 2-0 start for Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, a couple little nice moments from G2 in this one. A little setup there to trap the player around the corner, use the snake bite, force them out, and getting that early kill onto Exros, keeping him kind of pinned in. Yeah, Francis, another player looking to do damage, obviously. You know, there's a lot of really good players on Nongshim. They absolutely destroyed at a Masters, so this is one of the only team that took a map off them, though.
That is true. G2, one that made them bleed for the first time at that tournament. Forced them into an overtime as well to try to close out that series, but it was, of course, Nongshim coming away with a win in that upper semifinal. Meanwhile, drone just going to be sent forward. Francis spotting out Baby Bay.
Well, they've gotten an idea that maybe this is a mid crunch because of that push up. You know, a lot of times if you're taking elbow control like that, you're trying to clear up mid too, but this is all quite an elaborate ruse.
He's playing the fake pretty well here for the team. It will find themselves a fairly open A site, so Plant can come in, but Nongshim are going to be very quickly rewrapping around the back of this through that main as Ivy continues to explore a little bit further towards the attacker's spawn. But now fully planted out. 4 players to try to hold the line. Spot on the one, Downbeat setting up that relay bolt, trying to zone them back. Leaf, however, eyes just going to be turned over towards double doors. Wall's going to be set up. Trent watching the rear, but now starting to pull off the angle, and that could be a critical mistiming. He does look back at the moment, still reading that this presence is going to be coming in, but Nongshim continue to scale forward, taking some space here on the site. Trent has to turn away for a brief little moment. The wall going to be falling, and immediately G2 able to find a plethora of kills. It's just going to be Ivy now, with an opportunity to get some damage in, but no. With the on the spray, Trent surviving, still very healthy, as that will be a bonus conversion denied.
Yeah, really clean. in this post plant for G2. Just doing a ton of spam damage early when the harbor wall comes up. Even though, okay, you lose Baby Bay, but again, when a Neon is normally doing that kind of play, it's meant to create a crunch at top mid to go into B Link, and it completely fools Nongshim, and they have to play a full-on retake. And G2 has that post plant on lock. The positioning's there, immaculate. Fire very good. A little bit of spam here back and forth as Nongshim is going to use a molly of their own to try to contest this orb, as Exros has been newly kind of anointed as the secondary duelist for Nongshim. You know, behind Domby, who has been back on permanent Neon duty. Francis back onto initiators for this team. So a decision that kind of, I think, makes sense overall. Francis is very flexible, very good, no matter what you throw him on. But Exros, you want to get that firepower into play.
Yeah, and he's been very solid for him. One of the key reasons why they're able to make it to this tournament is Phoenix. Very powerful here within the qualifier, but Midway's going to be able to strike a little bit faster. Francis trades it back, but then gets traded out as Valen will come away with that second kill. So player advantage now in the hands of Nongshim. That operator going to be left on the floor as Downby collects a Vandal. Try to utilize that for this retake.
Late lurk by Leaf.
Low scale across, looking for that stun. Jogamo does get caught by the relay bolt, going to be sent in as well. He finds the first, but cannot find the second. Trent with that shutdown. As Ivy needing to find a little bit more there. Hunter's Fury will get baited out. They know RB now going to be contained into the corner. 8 HP to try to see if he can find maybe a additional little lick of damage, but ultimately it's going to be coming up shy of the mark, you would suspect. Tagging to the one, the spam going to be coming through, and Leaf, it's just going to be a matter of time as the Cove will fall, and so too shall RB. And G2 tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, again, just really solid macro ideas from G2 on this map. They've got some really neat, you know, kind of setups that they're running. We're seeing the late lurk from Leaf, as you would expect from this team. Well rehearsed, well drilled. Domby's been playing a lot of operator during his free time. I've been seeing him posting a lot of clips on his social media, but right there, can't connect with the shot, and that's pretty crucial. Could have made that retake a lot safer. Could have maybe avoided that danger of Leaf at the very end, but that extra layer for G2 because you couldn't claim some of those early kills.
Oh, they're looking to try to up the pace here, but obviously weaponry not going to be great for it, so just some spam shots out, no connections found.
But G2's been playing the beginning of the round the same way. Being patient, looking for those aggressive push-outs from Nongshim.
Speaking of which, two players down on this shop side. Footsteps being made. Valen still able to get the weapon out, and Trent is there for some covering fire. Second layer now going to be spotted out as RB. Does manage to get a decent amount of damage across a collat on a Valen and Trent. Downby with one. Now with a second. And two steps. Finishes off Leaf. Sprints back into the A site, but it's Ivy here. Early damage suffered. Just chuck the Guardian over to the side. Collects a Phantom. As they look forward into mid, this allows for Downby to continue to keep his eyes trained forward on a main.
Not going to be able to scoop up a gun for Downby, but get a one tap here, make it the 2v2. Definitely a real shot.
Going for it. Jogger's down to 5. A hell of a hit to be coming through, but Ivy now going to be taken down, and Downby has to do it all. The slow creep around the back for the moment, not going red. Swings in, finds the first, but Baby Bay very quick on the adjust. As the shutdown does not allow him to get anything more, and G2 will take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, it's really just good game planning so far from G2. They've clearly kind of identified and read some of what Nongshim is going to be wanting to do on this map, and it shouldn't surprise anyone. They're going to want to be aggressive. They're going to take control of those orbs if possible to try to funnel them into Exros a little bit, as well as establish some presence on the map to set up and play their style of game. So it's kind of two things at once that G2's been able to deny from Nongshim so far once we've gotten to these rifle rounds. And they're on the move again. They're going to use the no command to thwart RB from throwing any more util into their face, but 3 big ultimates available for Nongshim. RB one away.
Deep scale forward. It's going to be Leaf not able to hold his own. Damage not even actually going to be registering there. Exros gets away scot-free, but RB still going to be flushed out of this A site. So now a full take here by G2 and Valen. Playing forward in front of the wall. Downby going to still go sliding across, but trying to just use that wall against him, but ends up getting isolated, pushed back out by the relay bolt. The player advantage going to be reestablished for Nongshim as the run it back gets popped. Curveball around the corner, no one there to receive that. Time starting to bleed down, but Baby Bay going to be intercepted a backstab there from Ivy. The late lurk back through Nest, catches him on the bridge. Going around the back, likely getting the spot out. Trent just going to be suffering some damage. The face forward now all down to Jogamo. Swings the corner, and Ivy has him outdone. 3 players alive. Big bolster to the economy. Nongshim RedForce will tie it up 3-3.
Yeah, so Nongshim finally able to conjure up a response to what we've been seeing from G2, and this time it's just a big push out through B. They're saying, okay, if you guys are going to fight A main that hard, then we're going to set up early to try to counter it and get into those post plants quicker to find your flanks a little bit more, get that early advantage in the player department as well, which they're able to do by taking down Leaf. And then, even though the Cosmic Divide utilized here, maybe not anticipating that Nongshim would just keep swinging in towards Valen, leaving him all on his lonesome. G2 tries to fan out, tries to put players into individual positions to succeed, and this time around, Nongshim able to win some of those battles. They're able to hang on to most of their ults. Just had Exros as used in that previous one. So you got everything in the kitchen sink as Nongshim try to set G2's economy into the gutter. Jogamo just on a stinger in this one, and he's only got 100 credits behind that.
Rough go of it after that previous round loss. Leaf with a very clean shot. Baby Bay is able to find one, and Exros going to be taken down as well. Stinger be damned. Don't even need it to get involved. The rest of the players with their rifles looking clean as all hell. Now, given that your other player is a world away, RB is calling for this save, so we'll just be backpedaling silently out of this site. G2 once again going to be establishing a lead for themselves, and they don't have to commit much of anything to this.
No, not at all. And probably just talking a little bit here is Nongshim about how they want to take that mid fight. I mean, just kind of going into the, the first one from Dombi, okay, you're going to let him try to make those moves where he's willing to just take a 1v1 on the slide. And, he's usually pretty good for it, or at least able to do some damage. But then the fact that G2 has layers behind it to cover the attempted re-aggression towards what Dombi started, and then it was just shut right down because G2, again, playing very cautious, very safe most of the time in the beginning of these rounds. And again, an immediate change up from G2 from what they saw in the previous round. They're a little bit more thoughtful early here. And then they get a big push out in towards mid quickly.
Still enough to get the buy going.
Yeah.
4 ultimates to try to utilize to tie this up once again. Obviously, if G2 able to get into a post plan, that pit from Leaf could be giving them absolute fits. For now, just some mid presence, but Dambi, okay. I think just spam through the wall, maybe a pixel out of place there from Jogamo. Either way, he does get punished. Early takedown in the favor of Nongshim as Ivy still looks to try to hold the line here on this B site. Quick little jump peek out. 2 players going to be spotted.
And now you should feel like this is potentially going to be a B hit, so you have to call over a little bit of extra help. So RB was there, but
Just pulled off this angle though. Be able to try to get the early jump on these players in transition back over to A.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on in elbow, so they have to re-clear that space. Otherwise, it's going to be leaving Francis on a bit of an island on his own on A, but he's already tucked way back. Doesn't want to try to fight at the point of attack. Coming as the Sova, he could be, ripe to the picking from Baby Bay's overdrive if he were to pop it.
Spot out anything that he can, but they still managed to scale forward. There's a spot out. Hunter's Fury available to try to just slow things down, and they will send this one out. A little bit off in that first pulse. Retap, just baiting out the charges. So in the end, ultimate going to be expended. Trench is going to be hit the one time. Next Ross trying to work his way forward, has to check this corner, swings in, does so gorgeously as Leaf will fall. Full flash connecting there on Avalon, going deep enough. Now the overdrive going to be popped as Baby Bay frantically backpedaling away, just trying to avoid all this util, but he will get overwhelmed. Avalon just able to find the one before getting taken down. Now it is all on the shoulders of Trent. A 1v4. And as that wall falls, so too shall he. Francis will find it, and Nongshim will tie it up again.
Now you're seeing Nongshim be a little bit more disciplined, playing a little bit more cautious into the beginning of these rounds, giving up some of that space and looking to make some counter moves early. And the spam catches a player out. That kind of sets G2 scrambling to try to find the open space on the map. They do eventually but you have that Hunter's Fury there to delay, to set up for this retake. Exros, great job checking that corner. And then when Nongshim is kind of running and gunning together like that, hard to slow down their roll for sure. We're going to go contestant towards B, Ivy.
Well, it might just be a fast hit, but the pit will go through, and this ends up looking like a very good read from Nongshim, but also a big overcommitment. Ivy, he could have just backpedaled out of that one, held down the main, but instead pushes forward and just offers himself up on a silver platter. So now the pit gone. Plant will come through. RB very quickly slots his way forward here into the site. Balls raised, overdrives exchanged on either side. Jump up over the top, and Baby Bay's going to be taken down as RB is able to find two. Valen as well, joining him in the grave. Wallbang shots in. Jogamo able to find him behind the box. Downbeat tagged down to 21, even with the overdrive. Does give him some balls as he tries to maybe go for these plays. Curveball ends up going in a little bit too deep, but Downbeat has a wraparound from the side. Jogamo struck down, and Trent now looking to try to play this one patiently. The Hunter's Fury available. Sends it out. Here's the push coming through. Downbeat stopping him from getting any additional charges in, and somehow survives. Just taking 14 additional damage. Keeps himself in the fight and gets Nongshim back into the lead.
And this is one of these rounds that just makes you so impressed with Dombey as a player, because it's not just the mechanical skill, it's not just the aim, it's the brain here too, where he recognizes very quickly, you know, things are going bad over on the B site, so he throws up the wall, gets RB up on top there, he gets 2 kills, then he's gonna scale around, cover the site itself, then he's gonna rip his ult and make sure that when Trent has that Hunter's Fury, he can't do anything with it. He's very aware immediately of where that Sova is and what he's trying to accomplish, and is right there to shut it down. That is a really, really good round from your Neon.
I'll wait for confirmation, but this feels like a timeout. At least a pause of some kind.
Dun.
About what I was about to get into is this does feel like, yes, a moment for G2 to call a timeout. Yes, the score is incredibly close. You're only down by 1, but you don't want Nongshim to start running away with this, and you want to be having as strong of an attacker side as you possibly can. This is your side selection. You still have this critical ult in the pit available. You're 2 charges away from having both that Cosmic Divide as well as the Null Command online. So pivotal moments here for G2 that will really help determine whether or not they can rally back, close this half out with a lead of their own, or whether Nongshim will just run away with the rest.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense that you need to be calling these timeouts even when it's close on this side of the map, because attacker side very, very important, because you know that Nongshim probably going to be doing a lot of damage to you once they flip.
Downbeat gives over a ping off that recon. Playing forward, the slide in, and that curveball hits everyone! Exros able to find the 2, and suddenly it is just Leaf left alive. Taps the door, does get stunned up. Looks back around the corner fast enough, but now the Molly's going to be there at his feet. Push back into the open, the curveball again connecting, and what a call from Nongshim. Completely shutting down G2 inside of A main.
That's one of those ones where Josh RT thought he had a good read on an idea, and the Nongshim coaching staff knew what he maybe was going to think about going for. And this is spectacular.
And now I'm curious about the ping reveal that Downbeat gave over. He was playing on the side of Pyramid, gets revealed there, and then slowly, but still very quickly scales forward. So it
might have been intentional.
When you see Downbeat that far back, you're not necessarily going to be ready for that just full barrel forward against you. So I felt like that was an elaborate bait.
I think you're right. Does feel like that. You get a couple spots there with that knife, though, so G2 should be reading this pretty quickly that they're going to have an open A site. Going to use that Cosmic Divide just in case, but Nongshim, again, going to go for that long spawn flank to try to get this retake to go. Worked the treat a few rounds ago. See if they can get this one available, but with that pit in play.
This is everything.
Yeah.
Just chucking everything that they've got. Now set up to try to delay. Null Command obviously very much hindering the opportunities here for Nongshim. Zexros would love to commit this, run it back into this position, but cannot.
Joke's over.
Now was able to do so as the ult does expire. Still going to be delayed on the push. The sprint through. Downbeat going to be caught at the end as Valen is able to find himself a second. Swaps over the Classic. Gets a headshot on RB, but cannot finish the job. Pushes forward up into the pit, and he will quickly fall. And now it's just Exros having to backpedal away, try to hold onto his weapon. Baby May trying to play this one in. Will lose his life Pass the kill to Jogamo. Critical round for G2 to find after getting absolutely swatted in the previous.
This is just a great mental battle between RB and Valen right now. Valen this time able to dial up some responses to kind of the ideas that they had already seen previously from Nongshim in a very similar retake. They've got the run it back. They're going 4-man through spawn, and they know kind of what they're going to do. So it's a stall. Yes, you have the no command there as well, the Viper's Pit to make it a lot easier, but a lot of this comes down to the fact that you have so many layers with those mollies, with the grab well, to make sure that Nongshim has to press to try to get that retake.
Looking for this crunch again. I'll be sticking around for a little bit longer as the drone will be committed forward as well, interrupted by that 0 point in the end. Relay bolts just going to be exchanged and everybody going their separate ways, and in the end, it's just really Francis eating a bit of damage. No one scathed on the side of G2.
Just
until that.
Yeah. But yeah, it didn't really have much happen. Ivy versus Leaf, Viper v Viper, but nothing going to be coming out of that other than revealing each other's position. Now Nongshim re-clearing mid. Trying to make an aggressive push. It's going to be Leaf again called upon, potentially to try to square up against Dombi. They're just going to ooh, they're going to slow.
I mean, Leaf has just destroyed them from this position, it feels like. Yes, he absolutely has. The second kill found. Dombi, the only one surviving. Only one nearby this A site. Desperately needs some reinforcements as we'll get the spot on the Jogamo, swings in, takes the fight against Baby Bay, ends up winning that, wins the follow-up. 3 kills now for Dombi. Tagged down to 6, but he's somehow gotten them into an advantageous position. The overdrive immediately going to be popped. There's that reckoning sent towards backside, but Trent plays out in front of that one, dodging it, not going to be caught. Gets a shutdown onto the Neon. Double wrap around to this plant side, RB. Try to get the stun in case there's this second little flank coming through, but Valen and Trent just playing this one together. As RB is able to find the first, Ivy finds this second, and somehow, some way, Nongshim, they managed to close out the round and lock up a 2-round lead at the half.
Yeah, the individual skill this time for Nongshim, gonna be getting him over the line. Talked about kind of the brain of Dombi. He's been doing it with the aim. He's the complete package at times, but at the end of this too, RB and Ivy played this really disciplined, really nicely to not give anything up over to G2. A lot of players in that 2v2, when you've got 2 players on your left-hand side of those pyramids, are gonna swing and just try to go, because you got that 1v1 initially. If you get that one quick, then you can just transfer over, get the other guy, right? No, RB backs up and waits for Ivy to reposition to isolate those fights a little bit better. Really, really well played.
That's still damn close between these teams. A lot of these rounds just kind of teetering on the edge, but Nongshim still the very solid read, and this has been one of the big maps for them in their run to make it here to EWC. You know, will they stick with it given the changes moving into this patch? The answer is yes, and it's still looking quite good for them. Now we get to see this double duelist shift over onto the attacker's side, where this should just be an even bigger thorn in the side of G2. We'll see what Valen's defensive calling is going to be looking like and how much value he's going to be able to get from this Astra to slow down these approaches. It's always a big gamble when you try to go for a comp swap like this.
And there were some definitely decent moments from the Astra, but I think personally, I was so, I guess, maybe just enamored with Valen's Harbor that I'd rather see that. I think he's so excellent on that agent that, to me, it's like almost his signature agent now, because he's so creative, he's so smart with it, the way that he makes your life so miserable at the choke points on your way into B or A. He's really, really good with the timings and the decisions, and you know, maybe the Astra's still a little bit of, you know, kind of working out some of the ideas and the kinks a little bit. Still some really nice rounds, some really good adaptations from him and the team, but a tough map to go up against this Nongshim squad, who has, especially when Dombi's playing like that.
Yeah. Should be able to see maybe a bit more value as well from the KO, which we haven't really touched on too much here for Jogamo. It's still struggling to register that one in my mind, that he's not the person playing Neon on the team at the moment. But the defensive setups for KO likely going to be a bit stronger. 0-point denial on those drones in particular, something that is great for a defender on Breeze. But if you can get the catch when Domby's getting ready to go in for the sprint, stop him from setting up that relay bolt, you can buy yourselves a lot of time.
And there were a couple rounds where the early knife got good info that they were able to use against Nongshim. You know, you identify, oh, there's both duelists up at, you know, up at elbow. Oh, that means we've got a free A site. Easy money. And the ult did come in really, really valuable during that one round where they had the pit up as well. So some value being found. I think this defender side is really where you should be getting a lot more out of it.
Spot out here from Baby Bay. Unable to get those shots to connect. Recon as well was previously sent into A main after the 0-point scan. No one. Giacomo just continuing to peek off this corner. But he can spot. Swing. Suspect getting ready to come through, maybe led by the drone, but now it's just going to be Domby swooping out and claiming his head. Ivy at the same time. That late insert onto the B side comes away with that elimination, and VALORANT is just going to be completely overwhelmed. Francis's life for the plant on the site. A trade that Nongshim will take every single day of the week, and now Baby Bay 2 shall fall. Nongshim, another pistol collected, now up 8-5.
Yeah, you just buy a bunch of sheriffs and put them in the hands of these guys, and they just go in there fearlessly. Click people's heads. That's just beautiful stuff in terms of, again, individual skill on display from Nongshim. This first one, I was so nervous here for Jog on those wide swings. I was like, oh man, if the timing here is wrong, and it was. Then Valen just, Domby's like, yeah, later, bro. I know they've got you dead to rights behind me.
Yep.
See ya.
Just playing the rest of them. 17-7-5 at the moment on that Neon.
Toxin screen down.
Ivy once again left on an island. It's just a bit of a repeat here from Nongshim, giving me deja vu. Obviously, have plenty of weaponry this time around, but they're really expecting this forward push into mid from G2. Instead, it's actually coming through A main. Giacomo again going to get tagged down as well. Both of them down to 45. The Marshal now arriving. France is going to be stunned up, but they're right into the sightlines of Exros, who will dispatch them with ease. Turn to the side, trying to play anti-flash. Meanwhile, Ivy back over to the B. He cleans up Trenton Leaf, and Nongshim end up having an incredibly clean anti-eco round.
Yeah, that's really successful. They were just patient enough. And just as they're starting to get an idea, you know, Francis there makes contact, does some damage, doesn't take too much himself. It was only like 3 damage total to his health, a couple armor damage. So he's able to kind of confidently continue to batter them back while he waits for the reinforcements. And then when he gets hit with the relay bolt, you've got your 2 duelists right behind you to give you the backup with the Marshal. Really nice. Pretty effective bonus that Nongshim's going to be bringing to bear.
Yeah, it's a ton of firepower here. Just that Marshal, but hell, we saw yesterday how much damage that can deal here on this very map.
In Francis's hands as well. He is an excellent sniper, as we all know, from Santiago. Almost said Madrid. I was like, nope. Don't do that one.
Orb just going to be grabbed here, X-Ross. 1 past the halfway mark. That first run it back from this attacker's side.
Poison's off.
Well, G2 is very unsure about what's going on the map right now.
I don't think they saw anything. Wall able to get raised fast enough, and Ivy quickly is filling in this space behind them. Meanwhile, Damby just drawing all the attention over to the far side of the site, and Ivy then strikes. 2 kills found. And what are you meant to do other than save? But they're still working their way forward towards the site. And the 2v4 is just now a 1v4. Even for a player of Leaf's caliber, feels impossible with the way that Nongshim are playing right now. Yes, in the end, we'll have to try to make this call, but he is being matched. Ivy on the side already. Push forward past this wall. Finds him at Nest. Gets himself a 4K as Nongshim get up to double digits. Bonus is converted, and it's looking like this map is over.
It's a gorgeous round from Nongshim. Again, Domby creates space. You almost feel like a broken record talking about this team, but he finds a little bit of an angle. He gets that opening kill. Look how he's trying to scoot through there. Sure, he gets hit, but that is exactly what Ivy needs to get in there and get those 2 kills, because Domby's going to identify where both of them are. And Ivy cleaning up with the aim. 2 kills now behind Domby. 16 in that department. Things starting to look really dire for G2. 1 stinger for Leaf. Otherwise, it's just sheriffs available. No ult's really in the realm of possibility unless Baby Bay goes absolutely crazy. Exros will be getting very close to his ult. Ivy one away as well from a pit. So this is concerning for G2 in a couple different ways. Even if you do some damage here, you're going to be running into a couple big ultimates in this next round, most likely, unless you can get this Thrifty to go.
And they've hit the run it back off that orb grab, so Exros can just pop that Storm forward onto the side if they want, but it looks like they're starting to read that this might be a heavy A-side stack. Meanwhile, Ivy going to be spotted out, ducks back over towards cannons. Extros ready to tap the door. The wall gets re-raised, but he's not going to be able to see a damn thing. Baby, however, is just going to be seeing bullets connecting into his face as Ivy quickly cleans him up. Again, these eco attempts here from G2. Just not really holding any water.
Yeah, it's rough, to say the least. Let's see if Trent has some magic.
Well, it's got to be one of the scariest sounds in the world.
Yes.
Well, you know who's on the other side. Okay, we'll be able to sit him down. It's a nice shot from Trent. Maybe a little too overzealous and aloof from Dambi. Tap at the plant. We'll just get past this one over to Francis, wanting to try to get his ult online. RB says, I'm a world away, so you get that plant, you take that fight, I'll take the kill. And Nongshim will take an 11th round win.
Well, some nice little early ideas. Ivy, even though he gets revealed by the ping, gonna use that snake bite, give himself a little bit of time. Again, Nongshim's been really good on this map about when they do find themselves in tricky situations, about buying that extra time for the rest of the team to get there to bail them out. And again, that's that coordination, that speed that this team can play with that is so good. It's good enough to win you a Masters.
Meanwhile, built up in the previous round, but never committed that. Run it back, still there. So we'll just take a pause in the action. Orb grabbed here by Francis. Valen scaling forward. Will get slotted up into A lobby.
Well, Jogamo, even though he takes a bunch of damage, his knife there might have saved G2 a little bit, potentially. As it did hit Exros, so he couldn't just get up there and rip the ult. And just kind of, you know, if you give up that A site in this round and they're able to get that pit into play, it feels like you're going to be on map point as G2. So a little bit to the cause there and forcing plan B out of Nongshim. I think kind of a win here. Nongshim, though, waiting out that Sova util, not going to give up anything. Ivy doesn't get spotted. Leaf ready with the snake bite.
It sends it onto the corner instead of on the main. Then that still means the floodgates are opened up here for Nongshim. And Dambi going to eat quite a bit of damage on that entryway, but Exros into the back of side is still going to be able to find one before he gets snapped back by Trent, who does manage to find Dambi as well. And bolts remaining, but Ivy around the back does not check towards Pillar. Trent comes away with another one. Has been revealed. Meanwhile, RB finding Baby Bay. Giacomo going to be cleaning up the enemy harbor. Takes it into a 2v2. The health advantage still going to be there. However, for Nongshim as Extros comes away with a 3K, and that is them now up to map point.
Oh, Trent, so close to being able to do something really special here for G2. He's one more kill away. He's able to slip the net. Trick Nongshim enough that they're not exactly sure. When he repositions here, he doesn't get identified. So Ivy comes through the back thinking that he's still backside or something like that. Instead, he's actually moved up towards the pillar. But Exros, phenomenal. Such a stellar young player. Think that he is a royal roader, comes in and immediately in his first year in Tier 1, goes up, wins a Masters. And that right there, folks, is why he is sharp as all hell.
Well, now the final timeout call to come through from G2. I have to suspect that a lot of this is just going to be trying to get prepared for that next map. Shake this one off, boys. Breeze is theirs. Coming back from here, I mean, seen it from G2 in the past. I know the caliber of play that they are capable of, but at the moment, it's not really shining through.
No, I had a lot of hope after that first half that they were going to hang a little bit more here in the second half. I saw some good ideas, some good thoughts, some good counters, a little bit of anti-stratting in there.
And G2's kind of just playing the second half like AG played theirs.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to find a damn thing.
On that Lotus, yeah. Now it is all the money invested, of course, is G2, is some Guardians, a Bulldog. Not what you want to see.
Well, Domby able to get that fast lane out fast enough as well as the relay. Bolt slides around. How is he still getting kills? Chocobo going to be taken down. Balance only able to find the one. X-Ross will get the trade up, and now it's a player advantage to the site. Grab a Baby Bay. Okay, some spray and pray. The heavens listening. They reward him with a kill. Plant will come in. Hunter's Fury now to be sent. Trying to sound down Francis, but he's still able to backpedal away. This gets him now disconnected off the site with a Hunter's Fury of his own, but he's just going to be sending this one from the outset. Overdrive invested from Baby Bay, trying to find a target. Tucks over to the side, slides in, and Ivy will sit him down. 7 health remaining. Sends out the pit to try to keep himself alive. The Shock Dart will be able to find that kill. Nullified immediately as RB. Swing at the corner, takes the fight, takes Trent's life. It all comes down to a 1v1. Ooh. Damage going to be found. Leaf able to dodge it. The challenge in, and Francis has the timing. 13-5. Nongshim take us back to Breeze, and they take G2 to school. This was a one-sided affair.
This is incredible stuff from Nongshim, and you know, you're seeing the dividends from them going back to Domby on the Neon. Obviously getting here through the qualifiers, and today going up against G.
How it all shakes on out with our friends from the Pacific. It's Achilles and Paper Thin.
Thank you very much, Digon. Here we go. Obviously, Desk having a lot of fun, getting very jazzed up for G2's comp. I don't know how much I like it.
No.
Here.
I was right there with Kukuka. When I saw this, my exact thought was, oh my God, yes. There you go.
Well, that's probably the last bit of energy that he's going to have for the rest of his life, so it's been fun.
She's done me in.
We will put him 6 feet under after this broadcast. But, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how this goes. I was fully expecting that Extra stays with the Phoenix coming into this map. So for him to be pivoting over to the Sage, obviously we've seen the applications of this time and time again.
Yeah.
Especially from the, the hands of Paper Rex. How does this look for X-Ross? We will now find out. He's going to be alone taking that early contact here on the A side of the map. Sets up the wall. Meanwhile, Francis, he's just stormed his way forward, and Baby on that chamber has been taken down. We're going to be hearing these rotations just tucked inside of the smoke for now. Recon obviously not going to be scouting him out from this position. A couple shots, able to find some damage with the smoke now going to fall. And he's able to find himself a second, looking for a little bit more, but it's going to be Francis coming away with that second elimination for himself. But the spike is planted.
That was a nice little tucked in position that he found. Make this retake much more difficult. Slowed it down a lot for Nongshim too. Space they have to clear. G2 going to double up on X-Ross.
Flash is ready, and Jogamo quick to collect, finds that headshot. Really Bolt immediately going to be sent back over towards the site. Downbeat likely to be stunned up there, but it's going to be Valen around the back, catching them completely off guard, finds the first, and now Downbeat having to fight his way out of a corner, takes the first, looks for that second, can't quite connect on the Trent. It would have been a one tap, but the time is going to be gone. He's just playing for kills from here, and he won't be able to find anything more. 2 players surviving. G2 will find their first pistol of this series and start off Sunset 1-0.
Yeah, it's just so huge there that you're able to get that 2K, use that smoke against your opponents. They're not going to anticipate that you're in there. There was a little bit of spam consideration that caught Leaf. He was down to like 75 HP, yeah. And then so fast there with the turn too. Exactly what the doctor ordered for G2. And yeah, I do have some current concerns here for Nongshim. I think, without a hard flash in this composition, I mean, all you're sitting with is the paranoia.
Which is why I thought that Phoenix was going to be here for them, but it's not. And Baby Bay, well, gets some revenge, takes down Francis first and foremost. Quick shot out as they continue to try to scale forward and collapse in on this tile's position. And Trailblazer to check the corner, RB to clear that out. Swoops forward a bit closer here. Shortening that gap, but if he pushes back out in the mid, he will be absolutely screwed. Baby Bay just dialed in on this angle. Jump peek to try to get the spot. TP for a reposition. No, just a fake. Is Baby Bay now the one going to be falling into the trap here? You'd suspect, but no, I believe it's a no-scope to come away with that kill. RB now taken down. Downbeat flushed out, and this is looking to be a potential flawless, unless X-Ross can find anything, and he cannot. Flawless confirmed in the anti-eco. Valen gets 3.
Okay. Gonna really find out what this composition is made of for Nongshim going into this next one. G2 able to take first blood and able to have a flawless anti-eco, so they're going to be coming in quite well situated to maybe string together a bonus, really start dominating on their map pick. So far, it's come down to some individual outplays here and there. Baby Bay this time looking a lot more comfortable on that chamber. He's had some...
Understandably.
Yeah, he's pretty good at chamber.
Fast lane forward, blind out on X-Ross, tucks around the corner of the relay ball, going to be hitting as well as Francis tries to peel back some of this pressure, but Trent is right there to continue to trade it out, and G2 trade it up. 3v2. Spike going to be planted to the wall. Downby not quite going to get caught by that, but he cannot catch Leaf either. Takes him down to 8 HP, but just cannot seal the deal. Had the heal, and he's right back up to full. Ivy now try to play this one out. G2 incredibly well slated to get this bonus conversion. It might just end up being back-to-back dominant maps, just flipping the teams around. The split might be nearer on the horizon than we anticipate. Ivy eating some damage, does manage to survive. Will quickly backpedal away, keeping his life intact, but this round no closer to going over to Nongshim. So G2 with a 3-0 start.
And you're seeing already, I think, some of the layers that G2's composition is going to have over Nongshim on this attacker side. The deep flashes that you can set up with Trent to get your Neon into a position where they can bully up an agent like a Sage, where they're not really going to have much of a response if that wall has already been committed or isn't available in time to slow down the roll of Jogamo. And even though Francis gets the kill, G2, the rest of them are already starting to swing in, collect lives. So I think this is going to be a rocky road potentially for Nongshim unless they can start figuring some things out here pretty fast. They're going to add some extra layers towards the defense at A, but this time around G2 wants to let Baby Bay and that Outlaw lead the charge back down to an eco. Our Nongshim, nobody is going to have that full armor. Only 2 players even have half. Ivy carries the Vandal over, but can't afford to do much else. Wants to save up for the next round.
A quick break of the segment, just leading the way here for that Trailblazer that will get cleared out. Low Orb assisting in that, stopping this potential flood forward from G2. Now starting to potentially to explore elsewhere. We'll just go re-clear around mid. You end up with a full crunch attempt in towards market.
And they've got that trademark behind them, so they know that they can go up a little bit further through some of this space. Cam's going to see this, but Ivy in trouble.
On Ivy. Do they check him? The answer for now is going to be no. He swings it. He's able to find one as Leaf will get taken down. He swings around and has them lined up. Ivy is destroying them. 6 bullets, and he gets the ace! 1 Vandal's all they need, as they kept it in the right hands.
Oh my word. I thought he was dead to rights there, but they just don't check the generator.
Absolutely absurd.
I mean, look at this. Immediately, they all turn around, but he's pivoting so fast, and then Valen kind of walks in front of Trent as he's trying to line up his shot. Baby Bay was the one in that 4, trying to create that extra angle, and didn't matter. There was no extra angle to create.
He just uses the fast lane completely against them.
Yeah.
Tucked into that, Jogamo sets it up. He's on the opposite side, and there's no way to check him from there. Zombie now, quick peek out, backs away. And Jogamo, very quick for that punish, slides forward, finds that, plants his feet, and gets a second. Right back into this RG2, not wanting that momentum to get built up by Nongshim. The heal, of course, in effect. Francis now playing ring around the rosy here with the Trailblazer. Tries to get the drag across, but Jogamo now on for an ace of his own. He can find these players, both of them stuck here behind the Sage Walled backside. Even though they see that, this should just be a call to save in the end, you would suspect, for Nongshim. Leaning off the wall, which is buy too much time off of this clock and the spike plant, so we'll just try to slowly work their way out of this. As the guiding light confirms that street is clear. Question really becomes how much does G2 want to go on the hunt here to try to take these weapons out of hand?
Well, with the operator and a couple players being pretty low on credits, probably not too eager. Maybe they could send one out. Trent, maybe, but they're not going to do it. So I think you got to rip a timeout here as Nongshim, and you got to talk right here, right now, about how the protocols for slowing down G2 at the chokes, especially at A, are going to be dealt with, because you don't have answers to it right now. Frankly, part of that, again, is going to be the composition that you're running here. You don't have a hard flash to try to slow this down. If you don't have, you know, your Neon able to react properly against theirs, then you're going to have real problems. If the Cypher util isn't there at the front of the site as well, there's no ability for Nongshim to really have a counterpunch. They have to rely a lot on their individual skill, and that's tough against a player of Jog's caliber on a Neon. He is very, very good, as we just saw in that previous round. And, you know, why on Breeze we were kind of scratching our heads a bit that he isn't on the Neon.
TP into the spawn now. Valen looking for a backstab, and won't just be able to join in. But alongside Jogamo, who's trying to hound down Ivy, but Ivy still managing to find himself a second kill. That is critical value being put up by the Cypher yet again. Give them a very advantageous position. The drone now to lead forward. X-Ross. It's going to be Francis, never mind, actually able to find him. Flash is connecting. Trent able to find just the one kill. Looking for that second, but will quickly be overwhelmed as Nongshim rally back for another round win.
Well, I guess all that you really need to do now as G2 is just avoid Ivy. He's the only one that's been able to shut you down at all. Some individual brilliance. Oh, he even gets dinked there by Jog through the wall, but able to instantly reset. Find two. So Ivy locked in. We need a little bit of help from the rest of Nongshim. Got some huge ults on both sides of the coin. Baby gonna have that tour de force. Seekers res for Leaf. Ivy has his neural theft, as well as Francis's Hunter's Fury. RB looking to try to tee up Francis here. Paranoia at the ready, so they're gonna play off contact. Seems to be that this is one of their answers, just try to slow down the Neon on the other side. But it is just the Paranoia that connects here.
On to everyone, but not going to be too dissuaded by that. Continue to work their way forward. Spam shots out. Only going to be about 3 charges, I think, remaining in that tour de force as well for Baby Bay. Boost up over the top of this box. Street side. Down with the Paranoia, ready to try to clear some angles. 2 players going to be spotted off the drone, the Trailblazer. Spotting out plenty as well. Hunter's Fury now going to be sent through. Just look at the try to gum things up here on this approach. Downby with the operator, still going to be able to find one, but Jogamo gets the second. Downby doubling up. Finds that kill, but doesn't know where the rest of the approach is going to be coming from. Sides in, he's going to try to go for a no-scope, but it's a big overcook here from Downby. Ivy now once again having to be the hero. His location is known, and he cannot find Valen. Holds his own. And every time Nongshim tried to take a step forward, G2 pushed them back by 3.
Yeah, this is just really, really tough for Nongshim. This round has got to be kind of a gut punch, because you actually read this decently well. You're able to use some of that util, find some answers to at least force G2 to take a pause. And you're going to get basically the whole team over here, but you just can't take them in the fight. You're just getting beat. Some of the 1v1s, Jogamo has the ultimate. He's able to rip a couple players away. So G2, love this comp. Love the way that they're piloting it. It creates so much pressure. This time, Nongshim looking again to maybe set up that Paranoia trap outside of A, but G2 wary of it after what happened in the previous round where damn near all of them got hit by it. Just will get a bit of confirmation that there's players in mid, but you know, doesn't want to mess around. Knows that Baby Bay is going to want to get that op going. How dangerous he is with it. Ross and Dombey do have their ults, but right now it's a spread of the map for both teams. Nobody really committing too aggressively anywhere. Trying to bait that Paranoia out, and they will.
Dombey quickly reclears it. Will now back away, so all of this is going to be heard. Meanwhile, Baby Bay slotting just alongside that trip, will clear it. So op shot going to be registered. Nongshim trying to get pivoted into the right position, but the spike now starting to get ushered over towards A.
Yeah, I mean, now G2 is kind of realizing that it gave away the script a little bit in that previous round. And yes, they're able to fight their way through it, but they don't want to make it easy for Nongshim to get the reads with the rotations. Ivy again finds one.
Able to find it just before that flash connects. Quick peek in from RB, but there's the backstab leaf scaling forward up through mid. That will end up getting surrounded and overwhelmed, but same can be said for Ivy as Baby Bay going to be pinned into the corner trying to find that kill, but it's going to be Valen to the rescue, keeping him protected. Spam not connecting, the Trailblazers spotting. Both players' positions widely known. The Reds to come in. No counter spam going to be available from these positions, so Nongshim get back into a 3v3. Two very far fanned out. Allen could just be their undoing again, but no, X-Ross a little bit faster on the draws. Able to find that kill, but Baby catching RB in transit, mid-TP. Back into this 2v2, and Baby Bay still looking for a little bit more. Turns to the side, but the shot is just a hair off. Cannot connect with it, the defuse to come in. Nongshim RedForce try to get their way back into this map.
This one just gets a little bit scrappy. Kind of some of these weird situations where I feel like one team has the macro advantage and then can't convert the round. You know, a couple rounds ago, it was, I think, you know, Nongshim making the good read, getting all 5 of their players to try to counter the execute, and they can't. In this round, G2 actually works the map really nicely. They're in a position where they get a decently early plant, and they're making it tough for Nongshim, but they're able to find some big kills. On the way through, G2 tries to push out, tries to gain a little extra footing to hold their ground and can't do so.
RB, quick shot. He's able to find one, but Jogamo immediately has that trade, and he's not checking the corner. Rez is there. Does keep this back into 4 players. Just wall them into alley. G2 immediately having to pivot now. Back across into mid, re-clear this space, and potentially strike onto the B site.
Yeah, there's the camera here, though. So that early warning network already installed for Nongshim. But G2 kind of aware of it, of the likely position. A lot of cameras are going to be either where it is or just in the corner right around next to them by the orb. They're just taking their sweet time. Yeah, you're going to see Trent, though. That immediately brings out the slow. A little bit of damage done to Leap. Again, you're buying a lot of time here as Nongshim.
Nothing that he can't shrug off, though, but now, at this point, you're going to be very committed into this site. 3 players here. The backstab ready to be enacted as Francis is on that flank, and the door is just being held, and at this point, I think the round is just going to be over because they're just peeking in the down B one by one. Trent eventually able to find the 1 kill, but now has to try to just retain this operator. He's going to be ping revealed. It's Francis frantically trying to flush him out, and the shorty's not going to be doing a damn thing. Nongshim will be able to find themselves 2 consecutive round wins as they're now 1 away from tying it up.
Yeah, I mean, again, Nongshim is starting to find answers where they're able to send some trickery early, set up some different formations at this A choke to make it a lot more difficult. You know, RB just swings out with the Guardian, and then they're going to tuck a player in to the corner, and again, not checked. Causes huge problems. Losing that Neon with the way G2's been playing so far here on Sunset, really, really painful for them to try to get into a site, because then Nongshim can really plant their feet. They don't have to worry about that player running past them. That operator could be so much more effective. Look at this. 2 players up mid.
Again, going for this TP, but it's the same position overall as Francis. It's a solo with an operator. Of course, Francis to the other side. Gonna be good for the kill. Jogamo sliding forward, able to find the one with the Stinger. Valen with that backstab off the TP, still gonna come away with value as Francis gets blinded up here at alley, but Trent still not gonna feel comfortable enough to try to flush him out. Just has that bandit in hand. So he needs some assistance. As, oh my God, he almost has the collat, but no, Jogamo just a bit faster. Finds that kill. Valen survives. Dexros trying to wall them out, but Zold to try to play in Ivy. Heals going through, finds the first, can't quite find the second. Trent again with the operator, able to find a bit of value. And now it is all down to X-Ross to try to come away with these 2 kills to try to get this clutch. Jump up over top of the box, and Jogamo is ready for it. Has the 3K, and G2 have a thrifty to get up to 6.
Oh, man. I mean, just sending that TP through where there was just no good response from Nongshim because they're busy worrying about the 2 players that have pushed right up mid. So there's no real ability to clear these backlines. You just got to try to hold on to the ground that you have. And that's exactly what G2 wants. Beautiful stuff from Jogamo there in this round. Getting those early kills, creating that space, finding the 3K in the end. Huge stuff. Nice idea from Valen with that TP. It really threw Nongshim for a loop. This time around, Dog goes past that trip, so that's kind of curious. Where exactly, how high is that trip?
There.
It did get cleared or pulled back, one of the two.
Swing in and Leaf is going to get caught. Big mid exploration there from Nongshim. Really finding some value, getting out scot-free.
Yeah.
There.
Now you can slow down. Now that you've got RB so far forward as Nongshim, and none the wiser, I don't think, are G2. They're not really paying this consideration, but he pops out a little too early.
And Baby Bay can't quite collect that kill. RB, very fortunate to still be in this fight. Zombie spotting out the enemy Neon, slides his way back over to Market. Just going to be shutting that door for now. RB continuing to stay sat here, but looks like G2 are incredibly suspicious of this.
That smoke's weird.
And it has fallen. So too shall RB. Just not going to be dialed in for that headshot to instantly get the kill on Jogamo. Now the Seeker's going to be let loose. 25 seconds remaining, so they have to push forward onto the site. Downbeat here to try to slow them up as the relay bolt goes in. Trent going to be stunned. Flash out into Downbeat's face. Pedals away. Ends up making a little bit of noise, and Baby Bay will be able to find him. The shot connecting. Francis only going to be good for the one. 10 seconds now left in this round. The swing out. Extros eating some damage. Cannot find those kills, and with just barely a second to spare, the plant can come in, and Ivy manages to hit all three! He is walking on water this series as Ivy bails them out and gets Nongshim a 5th round win.
This would be a 9-2 scoreboard right now if it wasn't for Ivy. That is absolutely disgusting. Goodness. I mean, I think, you know, this round swung kind of both teams' directions at one point or another with that time left on the clock. Good night.
Good God.
Oh, my God.
Just insane. It's one of those rounds that, if you're G2, I mean, you want to be able to just shrug it off and say, okay, he's just him.
Want to play? Let's
You know,
play.
Ivy's just incredible at times. But it's also going to be so damn frustrating. Meanwhile, Jogamo ushered back away, pushed into the open for Downbeat to collect it. Brings out another warning shot. Trying to scare them back over into the arms of Ivy. He's alone on the B site.
They're going to have this drone here. This is going to give you the info as Nongshim that they pretty much evacuated A, at least deep enough that you don't need to keep that extra player on that side of the map. So let Donby maybe control that mid, that top mid space. Exros. Ooh, that would have been a good wall. There you go.
Sends it now. Still that gap in the back by the look of it. And yep, we'll just be the double push forward. That might even
Needs help.
Yeah, be able to play in front of this one. Ivy's going to be taken down. The Tour de Force of Baby Bay is able to find that kill. Downby now isolated, zoned away, just trying to find anything that he can with that shorty over the wall. Ends up coming away empty-handed as pop flash. The turn not going to be good. Exros still is able to find one kill as Valen will get taken down. G2 looking pretty firmly in control now as Francis will also fall. Downby and RB in a 2v3 to try to clutch this one out. Rendezvous situated. The shot goes wide. RB taken down on the approach, and Downby just can't quite make these op shots connect. Clears the dog, wants to try to slide in with that shotgun. Will be able to find the one, but Leaf is there for the counter swing, and G2 will get themselves out into a lead. 7-5 here at the half.
Yeah, it's a great mid-round decision by G2 to swing up into the back of B and put a lot of pressure onto Exros. That seemed to be a big point of this map for them on this attacker side. If they could find that Sage early, that was often where they were able to find a lot of success, where they were able to just make Exros really uncomfortable, really difficult for a Sage. You know, if the wall's already out to stop a Neon, even with the slow orbs, not going to make too big of a difference, or at least in this case, you know, just the overwhelming numbers of G2. Just not really able to hold the line, and then Baby finds that pick onto sight towards Ivy. I mean, as fantastic of a half as Ivy just had, not having him be able to hold the line. Baby with that tour de force. So good with the sniper rifles. Just a exciting first half again.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's just hope that this second half can deliver. I mean, if Nongshim are going to be able to find another pistol, very much we'll have a half for ourselves. And G2 not looking to see that. They want to go ahead and take this one down, get it nice and clean, nice and quick, send this over to a third and final map.
Oh,
this gets better every time you watch it.
It will never get old. That is some filth. Ivy, again, he has been just tremendous in the qualifiers for EWC 2026, and he hasn't been missing a beat since flying over to Paris.
Yeah, but he was during stage one. This, we saw the performances from him again. Heavy MVP candidate at Master Santiago, into a bit of a withering performance in stage one.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to find those same highs. Wasn't really getting any even regular impact in their matches, which was so shocking to see. But here, look, he's whatever slump he was in, he's got himself out of it. 13-7-1 as the Nongshim. Oh, will they pilot this stage on the attacker side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about this attacker side. You almost feel like you have to rely too much on Dombi, which is hard to imagine.
Baby out in the mid will be able to get some damage. Francis going to be tagged to 45.
But it's healed. So not the end of the world there.
CD out early. Trademark situated on B main. Baby can quick pivot around. He's playing the 10 spot at the moment.
Yeah, they've created a lot of attention towards mid, so Ivy's in a world of trouble if he swings too wide here.
Oh, he's going to be completely overwhelmed. Unable to find even really any significant damage. Shield's still going to be burned, but Dombi sliding forward will be able to at least trade it back as Baby does get taken out of the equation. But again, that heal burned early means that Dombi's going to be stuck at 45. And Leaf is able to find Francis to boot, so now player advantage in the hands of G2. Flash not going to be connecting here. Dombi able to find one. The heals quickly come in from Trent. Side forward space getting taken. Dombi now pushed back to 100. RB just on the other side of this smoke, but it's going to be Jogamo finding Dombi through it, cleaning him up. The push coming in. RB looking for a little bit more, but Trent's got the classic drawn out. The right click is there, and G2 will take both pistols on Sunset to move up 8-5.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing that Nongshim's still a little uncomfortable on this map, and in particular, I'm thinking about two fights that happened. It's Ivy in mid, who's kind of swinging to get info, and by the time he swung so wide, it's too late because there's 3 G2 players that have been hitting their presence up at top mid. And then the other problem is when they get onto the site, Francis kind of doesn't really process that there were 3 players up there earlier, goes for the swing himself around the backside of B, and then just gets cut down by the firing squad of G2. So just some kind of individual mistakes that cost you a lot in a pistol round.
Well, there's a bucky in hand for Dombi, but there is a judge in hand for Jogamo. Baby again is able to find Francis here in main, as X-Trust will be able to come away with 2 quick kills. The bucky in hand for now. Trent slowly slipping back towards B. Try to join in alongside Baby, but Nongshim RedForce going to look to explore elsewhere as the judge will just get dumped off the side of the map. So back to the pistols here are X-Ross and Ivy. Already decent damage. You see the investment here just in the cash from G2. And if they can find any more, this is going to be still a very good Thrifty attempt, if not the Thrifty itself. But Leaf playing forward, potentially unexpected in this position. As the wall going to have to be waited out. Will now break, swing in the corner, and Leaf's got them both outdone. So 2 casualties. They end up saving it quite a bit, so 3 players keep their weapons over into the bonus.
Yeah, that's totally fine for G2. You come out of that relatively okay. Yeah, you lose a couple guns, but whatever. I don't think anybody else even took armor damage. So that's a pretty healthy bonus that you're going to be situated with. Leaf even going to go for the judge. Carry those 2 Spectres in the Outlaw over, and 2 players on Nongshim aren't even going to be able to afford the full armor. That's one of them's Dombi. So a Baby Bacon hit a banger on an entry maybe, but right now not going to be given the opportunity and just shuts down RB.
Oh, well, Francis does hit the shot before he can rendezvous at the safety. Dogamo just going to be looking to try to hold this market door down. Meanwhile, Francis has found another Valorant dead atop of mid, and Dombi just quickly slides in, takes Trent's life as well. Revenge for their fallen ag.al. As Leaf will be able to hit a very nice shot, but quickly has to backpedal away. It's just that judge in hand will grab the orb, guarantees that he'll have the res going into the next round. This would take some serious work, though. Try to get a clutch materialized from this position.
Well, given a chance, they're just trying to figure out where the hell he went, and I think Ivy's finally kind of pieced it together. Must be holding somewhere in the vicinity of spawn or something.
Giving him some weapon opportunities available. They'll be able to hear this for the most part. Trent had died just around this corner. Regardless, looks like Leaf is just going to try to play this one for exits. Question is, does Ivy give it to him? The answer is no, but Francis will. Swings in. And it's a very nice headshot from him, but got not to be carried over. It's just a judge, so nothing to really get stressed about here for G2. Nongshim RedForce still eating quite a bit of damage to try to get this anti-bonus over the line.
Yeah, exactly. Again, having those half armor is something that hurt them even in the previous half. Being that Outlaw, being able to be carried over into round 3, finds that kill, finds that extra little bit of damage that maybe you normally wouldn't have suffered. Because Nongshim does like to invest just a little bit into those ecos. You know, they're going to grab a shotgun, they're going to grab a bandit, they're going to grab a sheriff.
And this is why you see that Outlaw again in the hands of Baby Bake. Half armors across the board aside from Ivy.
This adds just more value that you're getting out of the chamber on this map. And Trent, well, not too bad. A little bit of armor damage, a little bit of health. Nothing to be too concerned about. Nongshim, again, really prioritizing mid control. I mean, you see the differences in these comps and how they have to be piloted. G2 can bully the extremities, and they know it because they have that Sky. Whereas Nongshim has to be a little bit more diligent with trying to create extra angles, extra opportunities to take those contact fights.
Cover going out.
Really slowed down the round, though.
RB's in a weird position.
He knows he can't scale. He's heard that trademark around the corner.
Exactly.
Not to mention the 2 players watching this angle. Will have to just be a 3-2-1 go, push into market. Try to shut this down and slide in. Somehow Valen doesn't manage to find that shot. Downby sliding right at him. You would have thought he'd be able to connect with that, but the Neon comes out on top. Backpedal away as a sight. Gets taken. Flash over to the corner. RB not quite getting blinded up, but he's still able to find Jogamo. Continues with that player advantage. So the res is going to be committed in. Leaf immediately drawing down is able to find X-Ross. Hunter's Fear going to be sent from Francis, but everyone scatters to the wind. Avoids those bursts of damage. Now have 4 players to try to go for the retake. Some shots exchanged. The flash not quite connecting. Ivy is tucked into the corner. The wall will fall, and Jogamo gets the better of him. Tap of the defuse. Jogamo now finding Francis. It's all down to Dombi. And Baby Bay will be able to pick him to pieces. Double digits found for G2. As Nongshim struggling on this attack.
Yeah, this is really tough stuff. You know, you get this early kill, and then even you're able to get Jogamo taken down off the slide, but the res, and Leaf plays ahead of it, expecting a peek from a player of Nongshim, and he's able to get the res and protect it. That's so hard to do sometimes as a Sage. He knocks it out of the park, sets them up for that extra advantage, and finally a timeout.
Yeah, first one. We'll look to try to right this ship, but 4 rounds down. It feels like Nongshim not having a great grasp of how to try to pilot things. just generally on this map. I mean, a lot of the rounds that you're able to find from the defender side just boil down to Ivy going nuclear.
Right. No, I mean, again, honestly, outside of those rounds, this has been G2 all the way. They have been just a step ahead all throughout Sunset. You can see why they're very comfortable to pick this. I mean, you know, coming into this event, a couple of the maps that you're probably really keying in on are Sunset and Fracture, the ones that a lot of teams tend to avoid. I mean, throughout most of the day today, you're seeing Lotus, Ascent, Haven, Split. We will see Split later. I'm happy about that. Don't get me wrong. The last time these two teams played on Split, it went to overtime and it was map 3. We can only hope. But that being said, you know, having a pocket pick like a Sunset, like a Fracture, gives you such a huge advantage that maybe if you do have a weaker map like a Breeze or something that your opponents can lean into, you're able to at least force out that decider.
All sent at main here on a timing. 2 weapons into this one for Nongshim.
Nongshim's so keen to get a player tucked up in mid into that top left corner. Again, this time it's Ivy. And sure, it gives you a little bit of info. I mean, you're able to probably identify that that trademark is around the corner in market, but being able to capitalize off of it, they really haven't been able to. I think it's something that G2 is probably going to be pretty aware of, I would suspect, but we'll see. Tag on the drone to the wall there, so Leaf doesn't stick around, but nobody really accelerating.
But with that Trailblazer leading out through B main, this is allowed for Jogamo to start scaling forward, so he's going to have a faster rotation around the back. Granted, yes, Tripwire for the moment still going to be there, but Ivy potentially going to be caught on the timing. No, it's going to be Leaf at the same time, though. Back over towards the site, just gunning down 2. Ivy tucked into this position as Leaf finds a 3rd. He's going to try to play this patiently, but if Trent just looks over to the side, which he now will, he will quickly shut down the enemy Cypher, and that leaves now Downbeat alone in a 1v4. Plant onto the corner, the wall now falling, the flash connecting, and Leaf is there to collect it. A 4K form, an 11th round for G2. Split is looking all but guaranteed.
This is another phenomenal round from Leaf. Saw it on the res where he's able to cover it and really set that retake up for success. But here, it's just shutting down the huge push. That's the 4-player push that he's facing there. Yes, he's got some help from Valen, but he gets the 2 kills. And that means that Ivy can't go for plan A, which was to wrap into back alley. He didn't want to go into Link because he expected that should be able to be cleared by his teammates, or maybe somebody gets flushed into him when they're not ready. But there's discipline here from Leaf and Valen. They don't move a muscle. They don't give Ivy that opportunity until it's too late, until the rest of G2 is already rotated in through top mid. Heroic efforts from tremendous player in Leaf. Really just thwarts Nongshim's plans all across the board. And at Nongshim, they're so nervous about some kind of trap play, some kind of reactive flash or neon stun could be waiting for them, or maybe just a tight angle being held by Baby Bay with that outlaw.
Oh, Jogamo not going to be able to find the timing, but here's that jump from Francis, and he is not going to be ready for this forward position. Even though the tripwire's comparatively shallow. None the wiser, but same can be said about Leaf as Ivy this time. Being able to get that backstab through. Neural depth, the ping reveal, Valen's position now going to be known. Relay bolt going his way, and this is all to keep his eyes trained towards sight, so Ivy can slot in from behind. Comes away with that elimination. The repace forward, tries to take the fight, expecting that Jogamo's going to go past him, but Jogamo plants his feet right up in front. Ivy's unable to clean up Trent fast enough, so now a 3v3. And a very much win round for Nongshim. Fast lane over to the side with Paranoia, going to be out in response from RB to try to slow them up. He finds the first, but Trent quickly trades that back. 2v2 now. And a round where Nongshim need to win it, and likely even need to commit the res off the back of this just to try to steady the economy. Swing in, Baby Bay has the shutdown onto the first. The defuse not held to half. X-Ross aware of this. Baby Bay will rip everything out of their grasp, but cannot take the round, cannot take G2 up to 12. He narrowly escapes. And Nongshim hold on by a thread, denying that map point.
But it's Ivy again. He just, this time, a little bit pacier with this lurk up through mid, catches Leaf off guard. That allows the neural theft to be invested. That he's trying to use the Seekers against G2 there. Knows that after he clears the first, the second two aren't locked into him. But
94.5.
regardless.
Call us and share your story for a chance to win.
Chance to win what?
Not sure.
Yeah, they didn't.
What
they
did
didn't
you
really
want? What do you
specify.
want to win?
A car would be good, I
Yeah,
suppose.
you already have a car. What are you're greedy.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, what about second car?
Go, go, go! Stop!
I don't have a car. Can I have your car?
Sure.
Sweet.
Well, for now, similar scenes here from Nongshim, just keeping everybody stacked over onto the A side of the map. Ivy this time, however, exploration up into B main.
High-low could be really annoying.
Oh, they're going to go for the push now. The drone going to be coming out, and Jogamo wanted to try to get this punish here, but Downby just slides across. Smooth Criminal with a stinger is able to find that kill. Baby Bay now making his exit right before he would have had contact on Ivy. Spots him out, and the second shot will be able to take down the enemy Cypher. Coming with the overdrive, trying to push forward, but Trent is instantaneous with the punish. Shuts down 3. And G2 now, one more round to go to push us the distance and take this series over to Split.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have so many tools in your back pocket here as G2. Even if you lose Jogamo on that initial attempt, the ability to fall back and just hold the line again, double up for G2, and they're able to find a huge multi-kill. That time it was Trent. Nongshim gonna try one more time out. This one better be a damn good one, because you need 5 in a row just to tie it.
And you're scraping the bottom of the barrel at the moment. You look at the cash here. There's not really much to speak of for Nongshim. Bankrupted by G2. They've only been able to find the 2 rounds in this half.
Well,
Why are they just going to be looking at, Stinger Sheriffs? That's about it.
Yeah, it is less than ideal, to say the least. Silkanon have to come up with something incredible. I don't know. There's some individual things they can do. I think maybe some more mid explorations are good, but I think G2's been pretty able to well identify that Nongshim doesn't feel comfortable to hold B. None of their post plants over there have worked, so it kind of has to be A. And so, if that's the case, then you just throw that strong side player over there, try to hold the line, and it's worked pretty damn well. And again, all you have is the paranoia really to clear some of those angles in the relay bolt. You can wait those out or bait those out. Round's pretty much yours.
And Baby's going to be so favored here.
Whoa.
Okay, shot not going to register, but Stinger at that range, also not going to be able to find too much damage. He's got 2 sources of healing to put it back up to full. And Jogamo, okay, that's not a timing. Going to be able to find RB. He wants to end this one as Leaf. Johnny on the spot is ready for the punish. Jogamo on the repeat, takes down X-Ross. And the wheels have well and truly come off as Jogamo looking for an ace of his own, but Valen will say, let's speed it up. Let's get into map 3. 13-7 Sunset. It's a dominant display at the hands of G2 Esports. And once again, they will square off against Nongshim. A final map, a 3rd map in a series on Split.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be so thrilled here.
That can only be answered by these squads once they get into the lobby itself. Baby Bay back onto that duelist duty with the waylay coming through, a bit more comfortable for him. So expecting to see some hefty impact from him.
Yeah, no, you need him to kind of come alive. He was one of the ones, along with Jogamo, on those double duelists that struggled against Nongshim on Split last time. -4 respectively in the KD column for both of them. Idmaster, Santiago. Meanwhile, Dombey and Francis were getting the better of them overall. It is a very different setup for both squads in a lot of ways. I mean, you got X-Ross on the duelist now, Francis over on the Fade. So they're going to swap roles. It'll be Ivy on that Viper again. RB maintains the Omen. Valen will not be piloting the Astro with this comp. He's going to move over to the Omen. Trent switches off of Fade, goes into Sky. Again, I'm comparing this to the last time these 2 teams faced off. So yes, it went to OT, but here feels like it just comes down to skill, firepower, one of those things, and there you go.
Jogamo with that Sheriff at hand, able to take off RB's head very swiftly as Baby Bay goes diving into the back of sight. No one home though. Nongshim were heavily stacking more towards the A side of the map. Curveball going to be set, but Dombi eating the full brunt of that one. Now we'll try to go for the peak, but Leaf has him dead. Just bangs through the box. Extros gone as well, and that leaves just Ivy and Francis to try to peel back anything they can get in a 2v5, but it feels like G2 gonna have a third pistol win in a row from Sunset, now in a split. America squad very much waking up after getting beat on Breeze. Swing in, Ivy. Good for the one, but nothing more. Not much of a dent put into G2 here as they take the opening pistol.
Yeah, again, a lot of sparse fights that, normally you're not even really trying to take fights in some of these positions necessarily, but because you get one tapped off the rip, and then you kind of screw up a Phoenix curveball that leaves Dombi not able to scale the space and maybe get in a little bit quicker and deeper like you'd hope. Things just aren't going so good. For Nongshim there, that one looked a little bit not so well rehearsed in some ways, whereas G2 looking very, very sharp again, finding themselves their third pistol in a row. And it's a couple Spectres, Bulldog, Baby Bay with just a Bandit, Leaf with just a Ghost. So this is a round where you're very content to lose two players, assuming you can get all three guns carried over. Now, so far, Nongshim had gamble stacked more or less on the other side of the map, or at least willingly gave up the long B space. Do have a late lurk here from Leaf to try to deny any attempt to just die to the spike or thwart this retake, and here they go.
Paranoia not going to be connecting on anyone there. Swing out over the Raptors, curveball forward into the smoke. Extros eventually going to be able to find that kill on a Valen. Trent going to be taken down as well as Nongshim already on for the defuse. Dombi just bouncing back into the throw, completely ignoring these players here in Garage. Baby Bay will be able to find one. Defuse going to be interrupted, but Ivy having to kill Leaf, having to reload. And Nongshim RedForce right back into it, tie it up 1-1.
Not the fan.
Okay, take it all back. That looked really well rehearsed. That was some crazy good thought going into that. That curveball from Extros, the big opener into the can that was G2's post plant. And then it's just Dombi doing what he does best, running at you. Just a classic. And he's getting the job done. Doesn't matter, seemingly, how much you nerf the agent, you nerf the shotguns, Dombi is still really, really good.
Oh, yeah. G2 now looking to try to replicate some of that magic we just saw. They do have a Vandal and a Sheriff behind this. Saturate going to be connecting on the Dombi, but no real way to try to push off of that one, nor is there anyone behind it. It's an attempt at a bit of a fake here, if not just for a pick. Baby Bay comes away empty-handed. Meanwhile, push up into Mail. Extros going to be able to find the 2 kills here. The Paranoia just far too late from Valen to escort these players in safely. Leaf dead. Vandal can be collected in IV. Okay, does register that, but still is going to be taken down. Valen, full HP now with a shout. Baby Bay with this Bandit.
Now you got to be
Working his
real
way
careful.
through vents.
Real careful as Nongshim. This is potentially scary, especially with so much time left on the clock. Baby Bay all the way in spawn.
There's a world where this can get away from them. Spot out. Extros looking to hold his own, and he shall. Kill found, and it looks like RB with the right read, staring exactly where he needs to, but not quite hitting the shots that he needs to. So this still ends up being very costly for Nongshim, but as the swing comes in, Downbeat will be able to find the kill, gets the weapon upgrade off the Spectre, and Nongshim will establish a 1-round lead.
It gets a little too uncomfortable for Nongshim after just a really great hold from Exros. Just going to stand there, gets the first cleanly, second to follow up, but that dropped gun in mid causes a whole bunch of problems because they really don't want to fork that over, don't want to give them any opportunities in a post plant to dig in. Even though it's a good read from RB, he's not really able to be sharp with the shots where Baby Bay was. Dive in. Nobody home from Nongshim.
Oh, counter spam though. Look at Baby Bay's health. Trent can get some healing through. Tag to 16, so frankly, he's going to be lucky to be alive. Boombot with no scout. This gives them some pause. Zombie, ooh, elbow showing. It's going to be Jogamo, the one to eat some damage, though.
I think Domby's a little lucky that he didn't take a lot more damage there. He gave Jog a pretty good opportunity on that angle, but...
Oh no. Look at this. Speaking of opportunity, but no, it's absolutely squandered. Some damage found, yes, and Ivy will be able to find Jaw on the back end. The real fortunate part about that for Nongshim at the end is that Trent can't heal himself back up. He should have had him absolutely dead. Ramp now going to be taken. They haven't firm control here for G2. 40 seconds remaining, can still go for a pivot as well if they want.
Well, they've conceded some of this space over towards top A, and
oh, hello.
Leaf in trouble. Oh, gets around the corner, but getting spammed through.
Pushed out a little bit more into the open. Run it back now, going to be popped. X-Ross looking for that moment to strike, and he has been able to find it. Baby Bay going to be taken down. Francis out from Alley. Intercepting Trent, putting the spike down on the floor. Tries to go with the wide swing, but there's two players on the opposite side. As Valen will fall and is now down to Leaf.
I have the spike.
Blazewall does allow for him to recollect this spike. Reads the re-wrap from Ivy. Has the headshot.
Ultimate is ready.
But Leaf is running out of time. He has to commit to this, and it's going to be in the open. I think he's got it by about 0.05.
Spike planted.
He'll be able to get that one in play. The way that X-Ross pulls back from that angle, I think he thought that the time was gone, but now he has to try to play this out in a 1v1.
This is not going to be easy. Still one curveball in the mix.
But it's going to be X-Ross able to find that third. Spare their blushes. But damn, how close was that? Leaf put him through the ringer, but it's still going to be Nongshim maintaining and now stretching that lead.
Well, we've been talking a lot today about Ivy, but here on Split, it's been X-Ross who's been instrumental for Nongshim. Able to hold the line in a couple different important moments after some mechanical whoopsies. Don't like that wide swing from Francis after he gets that first kill. Ivy just not even considering that Leaf could have peeled back there. I think they thought when they heard that tap that he's already on the other side of that box going for the default plant, but was not the case at all. Leaf almost works a miracle. Trent, quick clear the haunt. The flash out just to make sure nobody's trying to scale through mid. Seen this a couple times from Nongshim, so have to be pretty cautious about that. Paranoia not going to be used just yet. Oh boy.
P again on Struggle Street, and Baby Bay on the dive forward will be able to catch him. That's going to be a weapon likely able to be recovered, but X-Ross will be able to shut down Jogamo. Leap now going to be found in mid. X-Ross with the reposition, but Valen with the read. Spams out the Stinger, able to connect. As the smoke will fall, Baby Bay here out in front, but Francis hits the transfer.
Wow.
Barely scraping by with any health. And Valen at that range. The Stinger got in his own right, still not going to be able to find that kill, so will end up falling as Nongshim continuing to rack up these wins.
Still, again, some individual mistakes that are almost costing Nongshim big time, and G2 able to find some good timings to at least do damage, but they can't convert enough because somebody steps up in the back line of Nongshim. And again, it's what makes this team so fearsome, is you have a lot of really, really talented players behind those duelists. Francis and Ivy, incredible when they're on. There's been a little bit of shakiness here and there, but right there, Francis able to bounce back after a rough previous round. Trent gets lit the heck up. Ivy dead. Look at Leaf. He's all the way over on A.
He's lit up. It's just a decay. So it's C's grabbing him in position. Now right as rain, like he said. Good kill from Leaf as Domby trying to isolate. Reads Valen's reposition, but can't do anything about it. And even if he had, Leaf would have been right there. Get that trade back into their favor. Flash sent. Side plant now.
Cover going now.
Going for safety. Smoke on the main, but Valen still able to play in front of that one. X-Ross strafing forward. Leaf looking for the immediate challenge. Molly just going to be lobbed into the corner. That can be avoided. It's all a quick consideration on that pit, but it looks like Leaf just going to be opting to try to hold that one for now. As yes, they will be able to overwhelm them and whittle this down to just Francis remaining. Swing out. Francis good for one, but nothing more. G2 now able to rally back, get themselves a second round win.
Yeah, this is great work again by Leaf. Just has some great reads at times. I mean, I was so impressed with his Sage play on Sunset here on the Viper. Gets that opening kill and then immediately starts scaling forward and just goes, guys, it's open. They're not going to be able to get here in time. We have a huge advantage, and the best part about that, you only have to invest one of the ults. Leaf held on to that pit, so he's going to have it available potentially for this round. They can get there. Just use those Seekers to really confirm. G2. Oh, okay.
Toxin screen down.
Break of that, the conversion path's going to be sent. Ivy to be caught, trying to tuck back behind this box, and Baby Bay eventually will find him. Hyper dead, but fast on their heels is all of Nongshim. This is all four players. Corralled around into garage as the pit goes out towards Alley. Baby Bay going to be taking that first contact as RP will be able to take him down. Exros with the ult in play, wins the fight versus Valen. Nongshim now get ready to storm their way forward onto the site, and Trenton Alley is going to be caught. Leap now zoned a world away. Having to rescale, but the Seas will connect. The Spam able to find him. Downby shuts it down, drops the pit. As Exros will drop Jogamo. Nongshim now up 5-2. Similar scenes on both of these maps where the team comes out swinging. They take that, they allow for their opponents to take that one step forward, and then they shove them back by 3.
Well, this is just an unbelievably explosive retake. Ivy just in an awful position, but that's a huge win there off the rip of his ult from Exros. The fact that he's able to get that opening duel allows him to keep creating space, and all of a sudden, that pit that should be a safety net for you becomes a prison, and they just get absolutely bullied out of it. That was electric coordination.
Presence confirmed here in the mid. Valen able to backpedal. Dodging any punish. But now Nongshim quickly making the call to try to pivot across towards this A site. Flash confirms that no one's home. Pain Shell up to heaven as well. G2 able to get themselves into fairly entrenched positions. And they hold it with the weaker buy. Jogamo going to be forced having to drop back, but Sun is out on both of these players. Jogamo comes out on top. Leaf is found too. Baby Bay gets one as well. And now suddenly in the blink of an eye, it is just Ivy. Finds the first, but needs so much more. Re-clear into heaven, and he will just abandon the hope of a clutch. Will back away, and G2 will find a massive, monstrous round win to get up to 3.
Yeah, they're able to just punch right back. I mean, this time, Nongshim tries to go for a more spread retake, trying to clear some space over at the bottom of the ramp, and Leaf is tucked in, having none of it. He got 2 kills there, and it's just a great coordination with the utility. The flash was in there, the saturate, everything you needed from G2 was perfectly placed. It's absolutely lights out.
All 3 players carrying weapons in. That last little bit from the blast pack doing wonders for Jogamo to win out that fight, to stay alive.
You got to be, I think, a little bit more thoughtful on those retakes on A if you're Nongshim, but G2, just give them enough time. So quick. Get into those well-disciplined post plants where they know what they need to do. Their protocols, you know, are going to be very well drilled. Francis goes for the C's there. Does catch on to Baby Bay, but no punish available.
Hey, not running a raise.
Go, go, go.
Molly's already been expended. Some pot shots attempted through this Viper wall in mid, but otherwise nothing to be found. No one taking a lick of damage on either side.
See how hungry Nongshim is to try to put the pressure onto G2, but G2 gonna match. Actually overstack here. Francis has to start backpedaling.
Baby Bay can push this issue because he has that refract available, but now we'll just let that one expire. G2 gets a very aggressive push up in towards this B heaven. Once again, so much util, so many bullets expended from both sides, and no one has taken any damage. painting pictures around each other, and finally we'll have our first little bit there as Francis. Let's just end up eating one bullet. Meanwhile, the spike's starting to get ushered up into A main.
His Jog's already down to his last clip.
DP check, but Jogamo with a backstab, just continuing to scale. Intercepts X-Ross, finds that elimination. Dambi here, though, to try to hold this line, has the overdrive, and the time has gone away from them. This has just been such a heavy investment. As maybe they up and over the top. Eventually, he's going to be able to find Dambi. The plant now going to be coming through as Jogamo finds Ivy, and they can stick this. Very much limit testing here, RG2, but they're getting away with it as RB finding Jogamo, able to win out that fight. But now he's got to do it all. Swing out of the smoke, and that is unbelievable! RB has had such a quiet performance this whole series through, but what a time to come alive!
I mean, there has been some of the nastiest spray transfers today from Nongshim. So from Ivy earlier, this time, it's RB's turn. I thought this was curtains. I mean, you get the backstab, you get the sight, you get the clear, you get the pit out of Ivy, you take him down. This looked like it could be a backbreaker for Nongshim, a complete change of momentum, but RB, that is one of his best. And we've seen a lot of good ones from him over the years.
Absolutely insane. That's one of those ones that if you're G2 again, you're going to be kicking yourself so much over. More so than Ivy's clutches on Sunset. Can they recover from here? Nongshim now up to 6. The entry again. Attempted from Baby Bay. Has to take the refract out instantly. RB just ushered forward by the pain shell. Otherwise, no worse for wear.
I love here for RB that he's like, I'm going to make sure that I have the paranoia in hand on this B execute this time. Because last time I got caught trying to swap and Baby Bay did me in. This time he plays it much more disciplined. Again, you clear that dog, but G2 is just sending that more to keep attention onto that side and to see if they can get an isolated fight. X-Ross is going to slide over. Ooh, that got dangerous.
That it really did, but RB's still going to be good for one. Looks for a little bit more, cannot find it. It looks like, again, that buy from G2 might just be bearing fruit. Weapons now going to be recovered. The heals pushed out. Jogamo back up towards full, but now taken down. Ivy from on high, able to find that kill. The slide in, and Dambi will get it done. Barrel stuck for the transfer. Narrowly scrapes by, but Nongshim now securing a lead and looking to balloon it up.
Yeah, God, again, another frustrating one. It looked like G2 might have been able to shrug off that previous clutch from RB. A really well-coordinated execute. Good crossfires available, but this time it's Dambi. Slides in, gets the 2K. Tread's trying to figure out where the hell he went. Can't lock on in time.
Just back-to-back rounds like that. Sure, this one a little less egregious compared to the previous, but you absolutely need to call this timeout now.
Yeah, you need to settle it down.
This has been slipping. You have to stop it.
I mean, at the very least, you got to find a way to take that confidence away from Nongshim and get in there as Josh and reinvigorate your team. Because those are two heartbreakers in a row where you had real shots to win around, put yourself in real good positions, made some nice adjustments there, you know, compared to previously for G2. They kind of outplayed RB again. I mean, they've been doing a great job on whoever it is, RB or Ivy or whoever's trying to hold that B main execute entrance. They have completely knocked it out of the park by smothering them out of rounds. You know, at least at the very worst, getting trades. But even thinking back all the way to the pistol where they just took RB out in the very first bullet. The haunt, not going to be cleared this time. G2 just opts to hide. Trying to obscure Numbers' presence.
We'll be making a decent amount of noises. Sees again, connecting here onto Baby Babe. Takes the refract back to Ramen.
Of course, you want to get that showstopper. Some value. Trent maybe could just lead with the Seekers.
There.
Then Jogamo's in a position where he can double blast pack up and punish right behind the cabbages.
I've got your
There we go.
There it is. 1-2, Prowler will be able to get the blind out though, and that showstopper not gonna be finding a damn thing. France is gonna have to just drop away on the rope, fully blinded up. Meanwhile, Extra scaling forward, it's gonna be good for one. Strip will get taken down, but Baby Bay is there for the trade. Valen out from garage, able to find one. As Francis completely saturated up, and Baby Bay is dropping off the box to his demise. Francis, however, will fall as Jogamo looks to spare their blushes. Just Dambi left in a 1v3. G2 should have this one wrapped up.
Would think this would be even more heartbreaking.
If it could happen 3 times in a row, yeah, I think that you'd just be mentally checked out, but G2 will be able to stabilize. 3 players surviving, gonna be key for this last round to carry over these weapons. Looking to make this a 7-5 half.
Did have to invest a lot of ults here, but I mean, I think that's exactly why Josh RT wanted to call that timeout, to make sure that this is a guaranteed round.
Yeah.
Knew how important it was, knew what they had in their investment. Wanted to get the most out of the portfolio. But it's going to be a lot of stingers here for Nongshim. So on top of getting that round, you also find Nongshim with no economy to speak of. Exros, the only one with a rifle, does have his ult as well. So run it back in play. No, G2 very much worried that maybe there might be a set idea off the initial start of the round here to maybe try to get that run it back to find some value, but instead, Nongshim going to keep it close to the vest. They too, with just those stingers, want to tuck in and try to find those close quarters fights.
High-low setup and ramp, but will be abandoned.
Scout destroyed.
Ivy just going to be left on his lonesome. Leaf scaling in that direction, but Exros with that Phantom able to find Jogamo. There's a big punish as Leaf as well. Just caught going on a walkabout. Valen now trying to TP into back of sight, but here's RB, shuts that down. The up and over, the plant to the feet, the flash is going to be good, and Baby Bay will be able to find it. Run it back immediately eliminated. Trent snapping Exros back. Is the molly going to be invested, disrupting the plant for now. It's over behind the box. The spike now in play. A player advantage here for Nongshim. With another gun recovered, now passed over into the hands of Dambi.
Just need Francis to maintain heaven control here. And
I'm out of here.
That's out.
Shocking.
Backpedal here from Valen, trying to get to a safer spot. It's going to be good for the one, but Ivy now with a third. The swarm out, and Baby Bay is looking for that transfer of his own, but Exros will deny. The diffuser come in, and Nongshim set themselves up with a 4-round lead at the half.
it was a wild half, to say the least, and if not for the heroics of a couple players, once again, I find myself saying and believing that G2 should have a few more rounds, just like on Sunset.
They took the pistol, but then they dropped that anti-eco.
Right.
And it really starts to unravel from there.
I mean, the fact that you get 4 almost feels good in some ways and bad in others as G2, because, yeah, like you're talking about, you lose that eco, you lose a couple of those clutches, but despite all that, you're still very much in this map. And you would think that, you know, G2 should be pretty damn solid on their defender's side, but you never know. Nongshim, that's a team that, if their executes are on point, if their coordination is on point, sometimes if you don't have the perfect answers, it can be really tough. Now, I do like a few of the moments I saw with the Waylay and the Sky to really slow down some of those retakes. So you're going to need a lot more of that here on this defender side as G2.
This is one of those moments where a team that normally is so very unflappable that is able to recover starts to have those doubts. You've been in this position before. Granted, you know, a very tense moment, an opportunity to qualify into a grand final. The last time they played against Nongshim RedForce, but you got to this split, and it got away from you. Having those thoughts seep back in, it could absolutely be their undoing.
The what ifs, absolutely.
G2 Faithful going to be looking and hoping, praying that they can get this pistol to open up their attacker side.
Well, and considering how well it's gone for America's, yeah, I know what you mean. But how well so far EWC has gone for America's against Pacific. I mean, You don't
Yeah.
want to be the one left out of the party.
No, for sure. All needs to start from here. See if they can get right back into this. Another pistol, not dropping the anti-eco. G2 will be off to the races. Exactly what the G2 fans want to be seeing. Shanks, if you haven't taken the jersey off yet, you better do so.
Yeah, just
They need everything they can get.
burn that thing, bro. In Nongshim is just gonna sneak underneath their noses here. I mean, they have a good read there, but the saturate.
Zombie still going to be going for the slide. Trying to get that point-blank shot, but he'll get pushed over. Meanwhile, Jogamo able to find X-Raw, so 2 for 2. ag.al looks to settle, but Jogamo's looking for a little bit more, and he absolutely oversteps.
Toxin screen down.
That's tough. Oh,
Damage suffered as well as Valen. Down to 15.
with a bandit.
But he's got to do everything, it feels like. Maybe if he causes enough of a distraction, kills a couple players, Valen could collect something, but Leaf, oh, gun barrel, maybe not being registered there by Francis, but he'll just peek in, finds Valen, and oh, it's instantaneous with the right click. The hopes start to fade even further as Nongshim get themselves their first pistol here on split, move up 9-4.
I'm already feeling a buy up here for G2.
Sure.
I think this is a great spot to grab some of those stingers and do what G2 does best. Put those to good use and catch your opponent maybe a little off guard. If they're not anticipating it, I guess they're not going to go for it. I would have loved to have seen it here.
From the defender side, it's always all the more risky. But I'm right there with you. I think that a curveball like that might just be enough to try to catch Nongshim off guard. Up to go for the safer route.
Already Nongshim, it's a pretty good read on what's going on the map. And even though Ivy might drop this Marshall, but his whole
Toxin screen down.
plan here is to just look for a little contact.
Okay, well, Ivy not going to be able to steady that hip fire, so Jogamo, it's a weapon back. And with their teammate falling, all of Nongshim are going to look to cluster on this side of the map. G2, though, want to try to re-explore mid, so they will be backpedaling a bit, but they are still very clustered on A.
Timing of this. I thought for a second G2 was just going to hold the line on A and Nongshim was going to walk into the beehive, but going to get stung just yet. Over towards A.
Empty site, the players now splitting, looking to re-clear through garage and B. The bad news about to be registered. Meanwhile, RB setting up a smoke, keeping eyes trained here towards the sewers position. The swing out, and he will be able to mow them both down. Ethan Baby Bay now eliminated. I believe one of the bandits as well going to be lost. Valen with a slow walk forward. Domby just jiggling on the corner, gets the spot. Takes the fight, wins it. Jogamo, how quick, how accurate can he be with this Marshall? Needs to be clean. No, the bandit instead. Will be able to take him down, but both have suffered damage. The time is starting to get away from them. This is really just a matter of can they find anything else. Jogamo needing to try to find something, but it's going to be RB with a 4K. This map is his. 10-4. Double digits now hit. Nongshim 3 rounds away from winning their opening series here at EWC.
I get a bit worried in the middle of this round for Nongshim, where off of losing Ivy, they might make the wrong read, but they actually take just long enough to pivot over to the A side that G2 instead thinks that they're going B for sure. Turns out to not be the case, but RB there, lucky to not take more damage, only down to 86 health in that 2K, even though it looked a little unsturdy. And it's Domby maybe off to the races. Valen trying to deny. Thought about the paranoia. They're just going to use the Prowler, and Nongshim didn't get the look that they liked. Ivy going to be identified. Baby Bay.
Able to get out of there. The saturate is in. Ivy will still be able to find one. But meanwhile, Leaf back over in the mid, able to get rid of Dambi. One of the big thorns in their side eliminated. RB still alive and well, though.
I even think Nongshim heard that.
Yeah, maybe not.
They weren't looking on their flanks, so convinced that they can just keep their eyes forward and X-Cross. My goodness.
Swooping forward, doesn't have any util to try to go for the heal here. Well, RB just tucked in alongside the smoke. If he goes pushing, Valen should absolutely have him dead. Gonna start to scale up, but hasn't quite gotten that spot out yet. Now will do so. Paranoia gonna be sent, but only connects onto the enemy Omen. Meanwhile, Joggermo looking to try to fast swing around this flank, but RB is already giving it some credence. He situates another smoke, but now turns off the angle. Valen gonna be able to find the one. Joggermo now backstabbing, cleans up the enemy Omen.
RB there tried to sell a fake rotate. Little did he know.
It's all down to Francis here. Swing in.
Whoa!
Francis just locks on. And he's managed to isolate this down. A haunt available again here in a second. Swing out, and Trent from the rafter will be able to win this round. But good lord, what a conversion attempt here from Nongshim. They get it so very close, but it will be G2 persevering for another round.
Yeah, this is a very tricky round to navigate for G2, and they do a pretty good job of it overall. Nongshim's trying to throw a lot of unusual ideas, and you have some, I guess I'll call them unfortunate moments where Ivy's able to get the kill onto the Baby Bay after being saturated.
Oh.
That right there, freaking nasty. But Trent's there with a steady pair of hands to make sure that no more damage is done. And the other thing I was going to point out earlier is the good news is a lot of those early kills for Nongshim went into RB's hands. So you don't have that run it back yet. You don't have one of those bigger ults that could be a real problem, whereas you have a showstopper with a weaker buy. So you've got a real chance as G2 to all of a sudden start gaining some momentum. Start turning the tables onto Nongshim. See if they can get it to go. We'll get some confirmation on that Prowler, and that means Nongshim, especially with that Boombot there, no way you're going into mid now.
Yeah, Saturate can be held as well. No contact off the Boombot, so Baby Bay can retain that for the future.
Honestly, I'd love to see him run at A here.
Yeah, it's just going to be an exec and RB likely to TP into the back of sight.
Exactly.
Okay, but no, a bit of a pump fake as they're going to rescale into mid.
And they didn't like the reaction. The delay there from the Viper felt a little too quick.
Paranoia going to be baited out for that Prowler.
Ooh,
Francis just dumping all of the kit, but Baby Bay going to be dead. Francis able to find him. Leap now with the peek. Gets the bad news. Everyone from Nongshim is right here at home on this site, and Leaf forcibly evacuated as Ivy gets the headshot. Joggermo now all the more pressure on that showstopper to be able to deliver as Trent comes away with a second, gets it back into a 3v3, and suddenly G2 stocks looking a hell of a lot healthier.
I mean, this showstopper, you would think is good for at least one.
Needs to find him. Back of map. The spot out. Showstopper going to be lobbed in, but no. X-Ross barely taking any damage. Francis just lingering in the back. Drives the knife into Valen. As Nongshim now up to 11. G2 trailing by 6.
Ooh, it took a while to get there, but eventually Nongshim's able to find that A execute that they were fishing for towards the beginning part of the round. Ivy again really clean, but then Trent answers back and you think there's hope, but there's that extra layer on the backside. The showstopper from Jog can't find success even though he's got an opportunity. X-Ross gives him the chance. X-Ross challenges him. Still can't quite get it done. Now, another timeout has to be taken. D2 on the ropes. Bloodied and bruised. The KO punch seemingly in the windup for Nongshim. I don't know. It just seems like there's some good ideas from G2, but when it comes down to some of these late round micro executions, that's where they're getting beat. Like the individual kind of step up moments lean Nongshim's way more often than not.
And people call them hero plays, but the hero plays have to be allowed. You're not getting that shutdown if you're not denying it away from them. Nongshim, they're going to make those moments happen for themselves. Able to just have them materialize. That's exactly what G2 needs to do for themselves. A Thrifty here. Deny Nongshim from getting up to match point.
It's such a scary round. As G2 obviously winning the Thrifty be amazing, but if you could get the Nightfall out here, or if you could get the run it back out from X-Ross, that's kind of a win too, because if they could keep both of those ults going into the decider, into the match point round, that sucks. Just to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So that's...
Sometimes blunt is better.
That's exactly it. I mean, I'm not the type to beat around the bush. Tell it to you straight. That's the paper thin guarantee.
Things very quiet. Playing this very close to the vest are Nongshim, not wanting to get caught off guard. They've already been thriftied a couple times, I believe, so far in this series. We don't want to allow for it again. But what a punish from Dambi. Practice with those snipers paying dividends as Valen will get taken down. Jogamo going to be tagged. The Cade down around the corner. Swings out, is able to find the one, but nothing more. The reface for Dambi. Overstepping a bit, but the team is there to back him up. As the dust will settle, and it's just Baby Bay allowed to recover some weapons here in mid. He has to be the one to get this over the line, to clutch up, to bail them out and deny this match point from going into Nongshim's hands.
The full kit to work with. There's an opportunity.
They are just scattered to the winds. Easy to isolate, but hard to read where they're going to be coming from. First fight, first challenge will be RB. Now noting them saturate. Going to be chucked in. It's a quick exit, backpedaling over towards the sewer. Baby Bay able to find the one, but that costs him life. That costs him time. He just doesn't have enough of it. Tries to find the exits. Refract around the corner. Nothing more to be done. Has the money for the buy, so will just go down. Could have just held on to it. But that is now the 12th round found for Nongshim.
Man, it's scary. Nice shot from Dambi. Jog able to at least get some value here. He hit. Nice little shot with that Sheriff. Baby Bay, I think going to be one away from the convergent paths. Yeah, Trent does have his ult. X-Ross does have his. I mean, Nongshim didn't even consider saving their Nightfall. They just went for it, Baby Bay. Oh, that's a seize.
It is, but it's going to be Valen with covering fire. Able to find it. Tommy in the back, but Baby Bay, rather, is still going to fall as Francis. Makes it a 1-for-1. That convergent pass now out of the equation.
Oh, but that's kind of a weird angle to have that flash hit you. They're not going to be ready for him to be underneath.
X-Ross now storming his way forward with that ult. Paint Shell will be able to snap him back. The exec denied. Meanwhile, Ivy worked all the way forward. Trent will be able to win out the fight. Tag down to 5, but still alive, still fighting here for G2.
Unbelievable awareness from Trent. That is heads-up play.
Meanwhile, Leaf ready to intercept these footsteps, going to be heard. Not sure if there's going to be a second layer on the approach from Sewers, but he's going to play this patiently. He is going to look to single-handedly bring this round to an end. Strikes out as X-Ross will fall. RB to just tuck into the corner. The spike, however, in his hands, needs to be rerouted. Goes for the elbow side plant. Seekers now to play spoiler, to reveal their locations, to tuck back the paranoia to fly. Jogamo fully blinded up. Leaf, however, has his vision and has RB in his sights. G2 able to win out another round, getting up to 6, but 6 is how many more they will need if they want to push this into overtime like they did at Master Santiago.
For sure, going all the way over to get the op. Gonna make sure that they have enough time to scoop that back up for Baby Bay, the only gun that was even dropped in this round. Okay, I mean, I think you can get a couple more here as G2. The alt cycle going to be in your favor. You're getting close to another showstopper. You've already got a convergent pass. There's a chance here. You can set Nongshim back onto an eco, get a few more, and then get a reset and give yourself a hope at those next 4. Just this time, Nongshim kind of getting lost in the sauce. A lot of big contact fights won. A good trade at least when Baby Bay went down by Valen, and they're able to hold the line and take Dombi down. Then this time you have the pit available. Oh my god.
They also have an overdrive and a very fast attempt at this hit from Nongshim, but they're going to be rerouted. Opting to not overstep here, but that overdrive will be expiring.
It's actually pretty painful for Nongshim. I think, again, a little bit too eager to use these powerful ults early in the rounds that don't really find enough value.
Dombi again continuing to try to sprint forward. The paranoia to try to hold them at bay, but no. Valen gonna be caught, but Jogamo and Leaf one apiece. Get them back into an advantageous position as Leaf finds a second, but Ivy will be able to take him down. Jogamo, oh, it ends up being rough, but Ivy able to find him with that molly on the floor. Immediately brings this now into a 1v1. Drop down, the drift across, the spike still the opposite side of the pillar.
So uncomfortable for Ivy. No idea. He has no idea where Baby Bay is. But he has the pit.
Sends this one immediately. Drifts out of it. Hit by that saturate. The classic shots not connecting the tap of the plant. Baby Bay. Wrapping back through. Trying to commit for it. And Ivy snaps on for another clutch and another victory over G2.
That was wild. I mean, I guess it's fitting in a way that it ends like that for Nongshim, because that was kind of the story of that split. Just some incredible